Can't tell if it's me. A little bit.
Are you
Oh
moving right now?
wow.
Yeah, I was.
We're
Are you looking now?
live.
Then yes, you are frozen.
Hey
Hey, and
guys.
speaking of Frozen, which was a movie that came on Disney. Another show that was on Disney was Ms. Marvel. You love how I did that. The transition is seamless.
Ah,
I'm so sorry.
That was a
What's
Vince
going
Taylor
on, y'all? It
segue.
is the squad. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Now, but quick before my Wi-Fi turns out, let me just show y'all where we at now, if I can. Hello, internet. Is it okay? Can you release us? Yes. What's going on? Hey, buongiorno from being in Sorrento, Italy. Yes, and now we are here with the Mount Vesuvius behind us. Yes, and I want to say hello to all of my peoples. Buongiorno, ciao bella, all of those are good things. And I let this stop because this is bad, and the people are listening, and they're looking at me bad right now. So, what's going on, y'all? As you already know what it is, man. This is the New Blurred Order on Saturday, man. Internationally renowned. Hallelujah. And today we want to talk a little bit about some of the things that's been happening, such as obviously, and I know I'm looking at my screen, so don't judge me. Look, I ain't at home, so bear with me. We have the season finale of Ms. Marvel that we definitely got to discuss. Folks are still talking about Thor, y'all, which is pretty cool. You know, one of these upcoming shows that we're going to be watching is going to be the marvelous She-Hulk. But also, in addition to this, there is a new Resident Evil in town, y'all. And I frankly think that they're trying to go for the black vote with this one. But let's go ahead and start with the lead. Obviously, Ms. Marvel is all that. We just had the season finale. So let's go ahead and kick things off with a little bit of Ms. Marvel. And we'll go ahead and come back and talk about these other things. This is the New Blurred Order. Hallelujah. Say what's up,
Hey
Nicole.
guys, I love the new blurred order. You should too.
whoa.
Buongiorno, and yes, it is us. We are here in the Sorrento, Italy, right behind where we see the Mount Vesuvius. Yes, this volcano erupted on Jon Snow about 2 years ago in cinema. But let's enough about me. Let's chat with the Blurs because I probably look like a Minecraft character right now. What's going on, y'all? It's my people. We got Tyrone in the building. We got Yaz. We got Steph, and we got the homie Ty. Let's go ahead and chat, man, because I'm gonna keep it real. Unfortunately, I can't stay too long. But let's go ahead and chat some of this good bleak blurred stuff. While we have the opportunity, I would like to start off by just saying, hello, guys. How y'all doing? How was y'all week, man? We don't rarely get to talk, man. Everything going well?
Yeah, it's been a busy week, but a good week. Lisa called you out for sounding like an Italian Jamaican, and I love that.
I was
That
thinking
was
the same thing.
Mount Vesuvius. That was good stuff. Also, like congratulations on traveling to the country, the one country in the world where you could do the accent and it's not offensive. So congratulations, you finally found it.
All right.
I know you're in heaven right now.
At this point in time, I'm going to pass Tyrone.
Okay, am I getting the baton passed?
I'm sorry. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go buy some new internet. I'm gonna come back in a second. I'm sorry.
Just had to go to the corner store and get the internet all situated. Yeah, Stephanie bounced because Stephanie was like, you know what? That Italian accent was just too offensive. I can't handle it. I don't like that. So Stephanie bounced too. But yeah, what's up, y'all? Obviously we're not in Italy. We're sitting in front of our green screens, indoors, not, traveling the world and pissing off the locals. Yes, how was your week?
My week wasn't too bad. It kind of flew by, which doesn't normally happen, so that was kind of nice. I'm just enjoying the weekend, I guess you could say.
Well, congratulations. I hope that continues. Ty, what about you? How was your week, man?
Man, it's been shitty, man. It's been a shitty week. Just not been a good week, man. But we're gonna bounce back next week. We're gonna jump into next week with a different mindset. But yeah, let's get out of this week, man. Fuck this week. Let's move to next week, man.
Fuck this week. All right, you heard it here. Fuck this week.
Do that.
I mean, one good thing did happen this week, though, right? I mean, we at least one good thing happened this week. We had the season finale of Ms. Marvel, and Ms. Marvel absolutely showed out. Now, I know this whole time we haven't talked about Ms. Marvel in probably 3-4 weeks because I feel like the New Blurred Order was kind of cold on Ms. Marvel. The kind of cooled off. So I'm wondering at this point, having seen the whole thing, having just saw the finale, how are y'all feeling about Miss Marvel as a whole season? Go ahead. How you feeling, Yas?
I liked Miss Marvel. It was cheeky. It definitely, kind of appealed to the family aspect, which was kind of cool because, we haven't had too many Marvel family related things, and as of recently, with phase 4, we're getting more into, mental health and just, just family orientated, just phases. So I kind of liked this. It was a really good way to display, just Pakistani, culture. It was beautiful. I loved the weddings, just the outfits alone, and just how, her family and her friends, once they found out about, her powers and everything, they kind of, they just were amazed and just wanted to help her. So I kind of like this series. I liked that, she she is just, this weird, brown girl from Brooklyn, you know what I'm saying? Like I kind of liked that. So she's definitely someone I'm looking forward to seeing what she's going to be doing in the future, especially, with the end credit scenes, if you guys got to see them. I don't know. I'm kind of excited to see what's in Kamala's future. She's young, so there's definitely going to be a lot more of Kamala and things that she, we're going to expand on her powers, and I think that's like really cool because I'm loving her powers right now. It's her powers are pretty freaking dope, and I like the colors.
Now, I do have a quick question for Ty. What up? When Yaz said brown girl from Brooklyn, as somebody from Jersey, did that hurt you deeply, or was that just more of a thing?
It was Jersey City.
Yeah. I was quite offended, man.
My bad.
We have this problem a lot. I'm
sorry, I'm a New Yorker. My bad.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good. We know we understand. We understand. We get you right.
So as the Jersey representation of the crew, what are you thinking, man? After 6 episodes, how are you feeling about Miss Marvel?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so from the start, I never was against this show. I've said consistently, it's not a bad show. It's just not my cup of tea. But with that being said, the last 2 episodes because I had to get caught up. The last 2 episodes really started to move in the direction that I've been wanting it to move in. My concern with the whole show has been maybe, when you're doing an origin story, sometimes you can get too caught up in the stuff leading up to a character's, like when you're doing the character development, you can do too much. And I felt like for the first 4 episodes, it was more about the culture, more about the backgrounds and everything like that, which don't get me wrong, I totally appreciate it. I just thought that when I'm watching a superhero, any type of flick like that, I would like to see action a lot. I would also like to see the powers explored, whether it be by the villain or by the good guy. So I think now we're seeing the powers being explored. We're getting to know and understand more about Kamala and her, where she comes from. I still think I still have questions, but overall, I enjoyed this show.
Okay, what are your some of your questions? I'm just curious.
Well, my first question is they established that her genealogy is different from her parents, and but they didn't like specify the difference, and I mean, we've had all of these episodes, kind of alluding to what she is and what she isn't, or whatever, is Jin and this, and then you find out that her DNA is different after going through this whole process of going back in time and seeing her ancestors and everything like that and how they moved. So I'm a little confused. I'm still like, well, what is she? I mean, we still have not established that what she is.
Okay, good. We're going to come back to that because it's actually the answer to that question is very exciting, and it's been causing a lot of ripples, kind of in the in the fan base of the MCU and even within Marvel Studios itself. Stephanie, did you watch Miss Marvel?
I did not.
Cool. So you love it. So that's another 10 out of 10 from one of the Blurred. So we got that. Thank you.
I love that she's brown, but it looks corny. It just looks super.
Some people call that like happiness or joy or anything, but we can go with corny. That's fine. You know what I mean? Vince, I know you were somebody who, vocally in the, especially, kind of in like episodes 2 through 4 and 5, like you were pretty much like, I'm not too big on it. At this point, what are you feeling after seeing the whole thing?
I would like to pull a Vince Taylor move and retract my former statements and say that I loved it. Like this, like, first of all, like I know I understand what Ty's saying, but I also want to say that that's kind of what Marvel does. They give you breadcrumbs to keep you moving. Like, they don't want to give you all the answers. They want you to speculate. They want this conversation to happen. They want these blogs and these podcasts to speak on it because they want speculation, and they lead you on. Just like Yaz said, from the last scene in this, you see clearly. They didn't say, you watch the end of a Marvel movie, there's a theme now. In addition to the after scene credits, there's also this one screen that says, Thor will return. Spider-Man will return. Well, in this one, they were specific. They said Ms. Marvel will return in the Marvels.
Yes.
So now they are pushing us into the Marvels already. And I'm already geeked the fuck up because I already see what's happening. There's going to be we already got the Black Ms. Marvel, right? I mean, it's not Ms. Marvel, she's Photon, right? And that's Monica Rambeau, and she's my wife. She bad as fuck. Let's keep it real. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's representative. She is a real rep. You know what I'm saying? She's not one of these faces that's thrown in to kind of appease us. She's got the melanin and the some of the physique.
That was very subtle. Nice job.
Yeah. I'm talking about the wavy photosynthesis. I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah. And so I ain't gonna lie, it was a little difficult, the third and fourth show, because it did, like Ty said, it did veer from superhero and went really into culture. But I think that there's something to be said about that, in Marvel being like rebelliously. Like they're being adamant about, look, like, we're going to give you this culture. We know y'all have, because some people are still like Muslim, 9/11, Muslim, blah, blah, blah. Like, they're like, look, we're adamant about making sure that we embed you in this culture. And by the time we had been like surrounded by it, submerged in it, like, we look up and like, oh shit, well, she's a superhero. And one thing I'll say before I give it back, Tyrone, is I love that she doesn't fly. I love that she has, like, she's got the Iceman thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, that she kind of makes her own way as she goes. So I love that. Would I have loved to see an actual Black girl? Of course, as a selfish man, I mean, as a Black, person, I always want to see.
We are getting that though, Ironheart.
We are, and that's definitely one thing. So, I mean, selfishly, that I'm gonna say that about every movie. You know what I'm saying? Especially the ones from Marvel. But I do think that this was necessary. It could have been another Kate Bishop, but it's completely the other direction. And I dug it, especially the fact that she doesn't have to have a secret identity, and the city supports her. I mean, she does have a secret identity, but I mean, with her family, they know who she is. You know what I'm saying?
Dope. All right. Well, I'm glad to see you come around. And also, when you said you wanted to, you'd love to see a Black girl, and that's something you always want to see. Steph smiled as though she was just this proud parent almost who nurtured you to this point. So I just want to point. Thank you, Steph. You're rubbing off in the best way possible. So thank you for that. To Ty's question earlier, and for a lot of people, some of the biggest news that came out of this Miss Marvel's season was one word that was used by Bruno when he was talking to her about her genealogy. He said, there's something different about your genes.
Nope, I heard it.
Mutation.
Yes.
Now, and then they played the music.
And then they played the
They played the X-Men music.
Yeah. So as it stands, and as it seems Marvel has presented to us, we are looking at our first MCU mutant.
mutant,
which
yeah.
is so wild, because the whole thing about Inhumans in the first place was this was something Inhumans was also almost something that happened in response to the fact that Marvel Studios didn't own the rights to the X-Men as far as like, you know, movies and stuff was concerned, so they went in a different direction with a different group of people. Now that those rights issues are no longer an issue, we, you know, they can go in a different direction than they had to go in the comics. So it looks like, you know, in our MCU 616 universe, we may not be getting Inhumans, but we may be getting, you know, we'll get some of the characters that they want to get, but this is going to be a mutant centric kind of push now. Huge moment. Also, like how dope is it that Iman Vellani, because I like this actress so much, like she's nerding out, she's loving life right now. Yeah, every time she shows up in an article or an interview, you like her more and more. Somebody asked her if you weren't playing Miss Marvel, what Marvel character would you want to play? And she's like, Galactus. You know what I mean? Like, she's out there just loving life. And for her to be the MCU's first mutant, I'm super happy with the direction. I love where they're going with it. I think she'll be a great person to kind of bring us into that. And now, as somebody who's familiar with comics, and you know, we're also familiar with kind of how the Marvel universe has been in the past. This is brand new territory for a lot of us. We're going in directions that we haven't really, you know, explored before. So just go ahead.
Well, I have a question. Are we talking X-Men mutant or Inhuman mutant?
Oh, absolutely.
Because I was under the impression that that she was Inhuman, that she was a product of Terrigenesis, that she had something inside of her, and that the bangle kind of represented a Terrigenesis, kind of like her moment with Terrigenesis. So, are we talking, you know, Jubilee, or are we talking more like Sky from Agents of Shield?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ty.
Well, as far as the Terrigenesis part of it, this last episode, well, the last two episodes, I think the episode 5 actually, when Cameron's mom, you know, whatever happened, because I don't know necessarily that they died, but if you remember on the Agents of Shield, when the Terrigenesis process happened, they would go into that rock form too.
Yes,
you know, like that, so that they're basically letting you know that exists, that still exists. However, when they were having a conversation, Bruno and Kamala, about her DNA, and then he said mutation, the immediate music that you heard was that of X-Men. Which allows you to know at that point, like that was like, it was like, you know, I was like, oh,
it was awesome.
Like, they did it real quick. Like, I was like, oh, yes. So I mean, it was so subtle that I had totally forgot about it until Tyrone brought it back up. But that's the thing. It sounds like they both exist, but the terminology of mutant could now, you know, fill in the hole for Inhumans, because from what Tyrone is telling us, they now have the rights to use it. So
yeah, and I think what we're going to end up seeing, and you know, in the beginning of Miss Marvel, I do want to say I was like, oh, we're gonna, you know, this could be leading into Inhumans and Terrigenesis, and I was looking at all of that, and I was like, here's where we're going, and they just completely, I mean, just left turn, and I couldn't be happier about being so wrong. But like, it's just so mutants. I think having access to the word mutant gives so much like narrative leeway, like it's because it's a catch-all, you know what I mean? Like mutations are these things that like you don't have to have a particular lineage, you don't have to come from a particular place, whatever, you just have something in your genes that makes you different, makes you a mutant. So you know, this is, it doesn't fly in the face of the story. What's up, Vince?
Well, one thing that I'm really excited about is the fact that they do give Ms. Marvel her own mutant story, right? Which paves the way for Storm to have her own story. You know what I'm saying? It paves the way for there to be individual movies about certain. I'm coming at Steph's heart.
Yeah.
Before you, Steph, I'm coming for you. And another thing that I love that maybe some of us have noticed is that there are also break.
All right, Vince, you're breaking up a little bit. So I will give it a second to catch up because I'm really interested to hear what you have here.
I love how she.
Yeah, Vince, could you start over for us after you came at Stephanie's heartstrings? Could you start over because we didn't really hear anything else?
Another label.
Oh no, Vince, he's a runaway train right now. We're
like, I'm not listening.
I will take this moment to interject since Storm was brought up that Michaela Coel has been confirmed as being cast in Black Panther 2. We don't know exactly what she's playing yet, but I am hoping and praying that it's Storm. I think she'd be so good.
Oh, I'd be down. I'd be 100% down for that.
It's confirmed. It's confirmed.
It's confirmed that she's cast in Black Panther 2.
Right.
She's
in the movie. We don't know.
Oh, okay.
But she would be such a good Storm that it just makes sense. It just makes sense.
But now my face. Can you see me, hear me?
Yeah, we got you now. We got you back.
Okay. Sorry about Italy's internet, guys.
Sorry about internet on this yacht. Sorry about the internet when I hang out with Bill Gates. It's just,
Well, so what I was saying is that like what Marvel has done also is they've blurred the lines of labels, right? Mm-hmm. Like if you watched the first if you watched the first Avengers movie, the first or second, I can't remember, the first appearance of Agent Coulson, right? They were like, oh, Thor's a god. He's like, he's an alien.
Yeah.
Oh, and then he's gone.
I want to piggyback on what Vince is saying because I think he's on to something here, and it almost seems as though if they go the route that what Vince is describing and they start doing these origin stories for each, for specific characters, what you may see is another recipe that they did for the Avengers. So you may see of course we got Kamala in the Marvels, but you have Wolverine being worked on right now. Then you could possibly do what people have asked for a long time, which is a Gambit movie. You could do of course a Storm movie. You could do a Rogue movie, or like a Nightcrawler movie, or whatever the case may be. But you have the ability to now incorporate these storylines into the MCU with better directors, with probably better actors, to be honest, and just fully just like touch on those things. So I'm here for it. I want to see a Storm origin story. I want to see all of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes with those. So Vince might really be onto something here.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be mad at it. And also, I think another point Vince was trying to make, and he may be able to correct me when he gets back, but Phil Coulson called Thor an alien, and like we've in Marvel, we've had a lot of these sort of like mistaken identity things where somebody says, okay, here's something I don't understand, here's a new thing to me, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of label it with the closest thing within my understanding. So it's always kind of been this thing of we encounter a new race or a new being or a new species, whatever, and it's okay, I think that might be this, and you learn a little bit more and you're like, okay, well, maybe it's this, and then there's a reveal where you're like, oh, okay, it's actually this. So it played out beautifully with Miss Marvel. I'd be surprised to see a lot of individual movies based on mutants, but at this point, who knows? I mean, there's so much good stuff there. I'm probably in the minority here, but I'm really hoping that when the MCU does really dive into the X-Men, they dive into some of the newer storylines. With some of the familiar looking X-Men and stuff that we know, but in the newer storylines that involve like Krakoa and the Quiet Council and like all this crazy stuff, because it's socially and politically right on time, like how X-Men kind of always was, whether it was sort of an allegory for the civil rights movement or just an allegory for racism itself. It's just right on time. So I'm so excited. But if you can, I'm going to ask each of you if you could choose one of our known mutants, whether it's from cartoons or old movies or comics or whatever, where's your production money going if you could do one mutant movie? I feel like we know Steph's answer, but I want to hear it anyway. Steph, what's your mutant movie if you could make it?
Oh my gosh, it's so hard. Storm. Storm. No one but Storm. Just Storm for 90 minutes. And I'm very happy. Actually, I would really love to see, there was a great comic run. I have them of Storm and T'Challa meeting as teenagers. They had like a whole love story before they met again later as adults. That is the movie I want to see.
Okay. What's up, Yas?
I think mine would be Rogue, like whenever she found out like her powers, you know what I'm saying? Like in that whole like her coming into, you know what I'm saying, like how to not use her powers, you know what I'm saying? I think like her story is kind of very interesting to me. The fact that she can't touch anybody, like she's killing them and sucking their life form out of them. So I think that's kind of cool. And I've always wanted to like see if ever there was a time that she like harnessed her power, you know what I'm saying, and like was able to touch people and like not harm them. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. All right. So you're thinking like almost like a redo of the first Bryan Singer movie, because they focused really heavily on Rogue, and in my opinion, just completely got Rogue all wrong, and it was terrible, and I was mad at it.
100%,
so yeah.
Yes, I was very mad. I was very mad as well. Yes, and like they didn't do her justice whatsoever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Wolverine was the best part about that movie. You know what I mean? Like.
Well, hold on, calm down. I'd like to interject, if I may, if I'm still accessible, and say that I don't know. I definitely critiqued Rogue as being done poorly, but I don't think it was completely wrong. Like one scene that sticks out is when she took Magneto's powers, and when Wolverine stabbed her.
Yeah, she took his powers.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, so those things, and she was still learning her powers. So I wasn't expecting her to fly and all that other stuff, but I just wasn't expecting her to be such a simp. You know, I mean, such a, you know, like she was, you know, so
she was. I'm Rogue. Yeah, it was like that.
I can't touch nobody. I want to change it to a human. Yeah, I want to see badass. I want to see her like, I got my powers. I'm gonna kill you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I want to see. And then I want to see her like realize that she's got all this dope ass power and she can be like one of the top. But then she's like, I'm gonna use my power for good and harness this and like not kill people when I touch them. You know what I'm saying? I think that'd be fucking cool.
Well, and also we do now have the ability to give Rogue the powers that we're used to Rogue having, because the reason why Rogue has super strength and the ability to fly and stuff like that is because she took Captain Marvel's powers and they stayed with her. So, you know, we have that possibility coming up. Ty, you were on the docket next. Vince, we're doing if you could choose one one mutant for an MCU movie, who would your mutant be? Ty, what's up?
I'm gonna say I would love to see the Dark Phoenix story and saga done properly. If they can do that properly, I remember that being one of my favorite comic books of all time was the Dark Phoenix saga, and just to know all that went into that, how powerful she was. I mean, you get everybody in that. You get everybody. You get the Watcher. You get everybody, the Watchers, you know, like, so I would love to see the Dark Phoenix story done properly.
Yeah,
so okay.
Yeah, there's so much cosmic stuff going on in like the Dark Phoenix story that they never explored in the movies. You know, we never really took it outside of I mean, we were in like Earth orbit once, but like when they never really took it outside of our solar system into the cosmos, into the big ideas of the universe. And we've already seen some of this stuff get set up in something like Thor. We saw Eternity. You know, we've seen these big beings now. We see celestial. So it's like we're seeing this great cosmic power. So that would be a good thing to see if it were done right. Vince, who'd your mutant be?
Oh, I don't know if I've had enough time to reflect on this. But
you want me to go first, and then you can
Let me. I want to give a good answer.
All right. So mine would actually be Magneto. I'm a huge Gambit fan, and that's where I'd want to go. But like Magneto's going to be mine, mostly because of the story that could be told socially and politically with Magneto. When I was a kid, I was always like on Professor X's side. I was always like, we can do it the nice way. We could all be friends and everything's great. But like as I'm getting older, I'm like, Magneto kind of has some points. So like I would like to see them. I would love to see him dive into a Magneto like, hey, this is the way things are going to be. come and stop me, and focus on that sort of a thing. Not so much a villain. His means may not be everybody's favorite, but I don't know. I'd like to see the world Magneto creates.
You know, that's the one character I think that out of all of the X-Men movies, that's the one character that they got right. And most of them, like Fassbender, they got him totally right. Like,
yeah, Fassbender was great. Yeah,
he was like that version of Magneto. They tapped into all of the stuff that you're referring to.
Mm-hmm.
And then what was the other
Ian McKellen?
Ian McKellen killed it.
Yep,
he killed it as Magneto. That was like one character that they got right. Like there was no wrong. There was nothing wrong with him at all.
That marvelous metal doesn't run all the way through your body, does it?
That was a brutal scene. I love that. Lisa bringing up some of the mutants from The Gifted. The Gifted was actually a pretty decent show. I mean, you had like a lot of the mutants that have really cool backstories, but we didn't really get to dive into them because of the rights and stuff like that. You have Polaris, and you have like the Emma Frost daughters and stuff like that. So it was.
And who was that? The Thunderhawk or whatever his name was, like the one of the main characters. Whose son was he? Because remember, they kept saying your father. I was this and that, but they never tapped in. We found out whose Magneto's daughters were, but we never found out who his father was, because they kept talking about his father was his father. Your father would be proud of you. Like he was running. His father was running it before him, and I never could figure out who this guy was.
Damn, I don't know the answer to that question. If anybody in the comments could help us out with what's his name?
I thought it was Thunderhawk or something like that, or something. I know it was something.
Thunderbird.
Yeah, something
I don't know. Well, I have my answer, but I'm not gonna lie. It's probably a little redundant. But it's Storm. It's Aurora Monroe from Kenya. I want to see. I've been saying this, but before I even knew who Stephanie was, like, I'm glad that that's something that me and her bonded on from the very beginning. But I've always, and Ty can tell you this, like, I've been saying this for like years, like, why, like, it's so easy. You know what I'm saying? It's like he lives in a real country. Like, Kenya exists. It's not like Wakanda. You don't have to make it up. You can literally go there. And I'm so mad. Like, I know me and Steph have differing opinions on Halle Berry, you know what I'm saying? Playing the role. I don't think that she should have turned it down, but I think she should have played it better. And maybe they could have just casted it better, frankly. If I was an actress and I was being offered the part of representing a Storm when it's never been represented, I probably would have taken it still. But I think what was worse than the Storm version of Halle Berry, the Halle Berry Storm, was the one that they did. Yes, oh my God, they did that girl so wrong. Like, it wasn't even her fault. Like, the way they wrote her, the actress, is not her fault. I don't fault her. I do fault. They tried to make her use a Kenyan accent that it didn't work. They made her like, wishy-washy. They didn't give her pop. So I just want this, and you bet not. Don't even think about whitewashing like Aurora. She's from Kenya. Like, even in the comics, they made sure they used that dark marker, that dark colored young lady. So I got with Storm, unfortunately. Now, knowing that Steph's probably gonna say the same thing, I say if I had another choice. Oh, she did. Oh, damn.
She said she was first.
Okay, well, if I wouldn't say Storm, then this is a little redundant too, but I'm also really ready for them to revamp the Wolverine. I want Wolverine to come back in force. I want Wolverine to also bring folks like Sabretooth, Omega Red, X10, X2, Psylocke, and the one girl who was actually in X2. I want all of the X's, you know what I'm saying? Like
you want a Weapon X movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I want the X's. I want give me everything that went down in those facilities where they were constructing these weapons, because these were weapons. Like, they don't even realize it. Like, they were made for war, and they ended up fighting those wars. So I'm here for a Wolverine story, even though It's not, as a blurred, I'm surprised I didn't say Bishop or something like that. But as a Wolverine fan, I would say, yeah, that's my guy.
All right, no, I like it.
I know Stephanie has her suggestion for Storm, but I have my suggestion for Storm. This young lady right here, her name is and I'm probably gonna mess this up. Yatiti Badaki. This young lady right here. Can y'all
okay.
From American Gods.
Yes,
American
man.
Gods.
Like I feel like she's not of Nigerian descent. So and I think she could kill it. I think she would absolutely kill the role
100%. 100%.
So that was just my who I
the only other person, I agree with you, Ty, that she's literally the spitting image of what you think of, almost what you picture when you think of Storm.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one other person, and I think it was Minnie or Daniel, shout out to Minnie and Daniel in the comments, who posted them in our group, and it's this UFC fighter. There's some like UFC fighter, you know what I'm talking about, Steph? Who her hair's already white. She's got the physique.
Oh wow.
Oh, I know you're talking about. Yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah.
The UFC fighter
and I'll admit that it's chauvinist for me to even include the physique in it, but I'm gonna just retract I'm gonna go back to last week when I put all those pictures of Thor up. He has the physique for Thor, but I think that one of y'all let me know in the comments, y'all good at that, who this lady is, because she looks like the comic book version of Storm. Now, this young lady looks like an on-screen Storm. Don't get me wrong. And me and you, Ty, we agreed on American Gods.
You're not talking about Clarissa Shields. You're not talking about the boxer that turned into UFC fighter. I know that's not how you talk about it. Is that what you talking about?
I don't know. Let me Google it.
I mean, because we said she's a boxer. So if that's who we like,
I know that's the problem. It was an image thing, not that she could play the part. It was more just like she looks the part.
You just look at the part. Well, yeah, because I'm saying with old girl, she's an actual actress.
Oh no, it's not Clarissa.
We've seen her do work and American God. She kills it. She's a god in American Gods. Like she
did. And I think she gets my vote for. I would co-sign it for sure, absolutely.
And like she's absolutely gorgeous, beautiful. I mean, like just there's so many things like that from just the. I think the accent, she'll have the accent down. You won't have to worry about her butchering the accent or not hitting it on point. And she if you ever saw American Gods and you saw her in American Gods, she has a level of regality. Like she's so regal.
Does.
And it's like that right there would oh my gosh.
Got the royalty part down.
Yeah, the royal.
Now, can we talk about her superpower in America?
I don't know.
I feel a boys type conversation coming on. Are we about to have a boys type conversation?
Let's just say she got that killer.
Let's just say you once you go black. You in
a wheelchair?
You gone forever.
Let's talk about black holes.
You will not be back.
Okay, I'm gonna bring us back to mutant conversation before this devolves into into a locker room, a seventh grade locker room. Even though I spent many a seventh grade PE class talking about this very thing. So no, I do. I have a question about mutants. Now we're like, okay, mutants exist in the MCU. It's a thing now. So my question is, does anybody have any thoughts or any predictions on how the MCU is going to introduce to us the fact that mutants have existed on a large scale? And we just haven't known it yet. So we have all these mutants with all these powers that have been around this whole time, and we're just now becoming aware of it. Got some thoughts, Ty?
Absolutely.
What's up?
The introduction of the multiverse, which was in Doctor Strange. That is basically letting you know that you didn't know that any of these worlds existed, but they all existed. So that's where we're at right now. Like it because doors have been opening. Rifts in the fabric of time. You just got another what was it called in Miss Marvel when she said the veil has been broke. So you're getting all of these different things like all the time where introductions to other worlds are now being visible because you have a different lens. You're seeing that there's all of these other things that existed outside of Bruno. Or was it Bruno? No, it wasn't Bruno. It was the guy.
Cameron?
I don't even know what his name was, but when she went to the country and met the
Red Dagger kid.
The Red Dagger kid, but the guy
my man from
the guy he introduced her to that. So that guy, when he was describing where the Jinn are from, and he was saying there's a world that exists that we can't see.
Yeah, a dimension.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's how they introduce all of this by saying it always existed. We just never had a peek in or had a connection or had a way to access them, but now we do.
Okay, I have a thought that and I want to shout out my boy Matt for this one because we were talking about it after Miss Marvel, but he pitched the idea of mutants have been existing and have been just doing their thing in this 616 universe. No other dimensions involved, nothing like that. The only difference is that Professor X has been protecting them by basically wiping everybody's memories of them. Just keeping the mutant existence a secret in order to protect mutant life, and that perhaps Miss Marvel will be because she's kind of public, because she's getting all this play and stuff like that. Maybe she'll be the mutant to kind of break things down a little bit. Maybe he'll say, okay, well now it's time to let the world know of our presence. What's up?
Well, I also want to bring up the fact that we should acknowledge that the X-Men were never really considered like global police, kind of like the Avengers. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not out to try to. Sorry, I dropped my piece. They're not out to try to. They're not looking for that top. Like they're looking to protect humans from mutants. You know what I'm saying?
Well, mutants from humans.
Yeah, mutants from humans. Yeah. And humans from mutants that would that would do them harm. Of the Magneto mind frame, which is problematic to an extent, depending on which side of that you stand on. So it would be easy to say, like, the mutants been here the whole time. They're not trying to bring down Thanos. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to stop like Omega Red from beating up, Chucky in North Carolina. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I get it. I'm here for that.
That's cool. What's up, Ty?
I do have one concern in regards to Kamala. There was something that stood out, and I remember when we were watching the show, and I brought it out, and I said, what's her name? Who plays Photon? What's her? Monica Rambeau. Yeah. I said it as soon as I saw her, maybe the second episode. I said Monica Rambeau has this star power about her that translates well cinematically, and I could see them taking her from the show and putting her on the big screen because it was just it was something about her that really, really stood out. And we all kind of felt it. We all were on that same page, yo, I could see her. And sure enough, we got her on big cinema. I don't get that same vibe from Kamala. I don't. I'm not saying she's bad at what she does at all. So I want to make that very clear. However, sometimes the big screen is too big for certain actors. Certain actors do very well on television. They do. Some do very well on TV series and stuff like that. But when you put them on that big screen and put them on the cinematic side, it doesn't translate as well. And I have a little bit of a concern of that for Kamala when it comes to the Marvels. And her being an introduction to anything outside of her own storyline. What's up?
Vince has a thought about why you hate Kamala. Okay.
Well, first of all, I disagree. I think she does have the star power to beat the big screen. I think she actually is one of the biggest breakout stars of her age that we've seen in Marvel, point blank, period, end stop. Second of all, I wish at some point Steph could send me a video of her doing this so I can make a GIF out of it. And third of all, I wanted to take just a moment because I'm running out of time here and battery and say that maybe you all haven't realized this, but right now there are more Black Marvels than any other race because we have Dr. Rambo, who's right now we saw in Multiverse, Monica Rambeau's mom. We have Monica Rambeau, who's, I mean, she doesn't take the Marvel name, but she will be in Marvels as a Marvel, even though she's going to be full-time. And now we've got only Kate Bishop. God damn it.
Kamala Khan.
Dana. No. What's her real name? Miss Marvel. Captain Marvel's name.
Brie Larson. Oh, Carol Danvers.
No, Carol Danvers. Yeah, Carol Danvers. And so, like, right now, there's only one Marvel that's white. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a good place to be. It could go better, but I think we're headed in the right direction. So right now we're leaning towards a Marvel universe, Marvel, that is being led by people of color, which I think is dope and it's worth acknowledging. But it is a little scary, Tyrone. Tyler, I do agree with you. Sometimes, even though I think that she does have the star quality to make it on big screen, folks like you are out there that are going to be like, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't really feeling that teeny bopper series. It kind of felt very, High School Musical. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I want to see that on the big screen, but I think she could do it. I think me and Tyrone are in agreement.
Well, I just want to be clear. Like, it's not that though. It's not the teeny bopper thing that has me like that. When I first encountered Tom Holland, I immediately felt like he was a star before he blew up. Like, immediately was like, yo, this dude's got it. This kid's got it. And I pay attention to actors and stuff like that. And with her, I just feel like a lot of the fanfare behind Kamala is the fact that they're doing a cultural piece on her. And I feel like it's again, I don't want to take anything away. She's repping Jersey. I love all of that. So I don't want them taking away our only superhero. So like don't get me twisted, all right? But I'm just saying, I don't get that same vibe and that same energy that I got from a Monica, that I got from a Tom immediately. Like, I was like, oh, yo, they got it. And as soon as they hit the screen, we was like, yo, they got it. There was never a question. And I've not heard people talk about Tom Holland in a way saying that he's a bad Spider-Man or that he's a bad anything. Everybody has been on the pretty much on that popular consensus that he is really, really good at being Spider-Man. I think.
Let me interject. I'm only interrupting. I'm only interrupting because I'm down to 1% battery.
Oh, my bad.
I'm only interrupting because of that. But I'm going to say that if Kamala was introduced the way that Tom Holland was, perhaps you'd feel differently because we got tidbits and shots of Tom Holland before we got him in full, kind of like we did with Black Panther. We didn't get a full Black Panther movie at first. He was introduced to us just like Spider-Man was in Civil War from Captain America. Then we got to see him again in Avengers. Then he got his own movie. Ms. Marvel, however, is given a full series all up front. And so perhaps if she was introduced as a slower rollout, you think maybe you'd feel a little different? Like if you saw her on a big screen, it just was like kind of like America Chavez, maybe?
No, I don't think so, because I think what she's actually benefiting from having her own series and everything like that. Like, that's beneficial. The more screen time you get means the more that people can relate to you and everything like that. So I don't think that's it at all as far as her getting like that. I just think Tom has it. Tom has it. Monica has it. Look, I'm gonna go out on a limb right now and say that Monica will be the biggest star of the Marvels.
The
Marvels movie. She will be the biggest star. It's just something about Monica. She commands the screen. When she comes on the screen, she commands the screen, and that's what I'm just. We'll see.
I agree with you on that, and it better be that way, frankly, because let me tell you why. She's the only one that doesn't have her own platform. If you think about it,
that's true.
Ms. Marvel has her own show. Captain had her own movie, and she was the hero in the Endgame movie. So they have nowhere to go other than to put Photon at the forefront, in my opinion, and to eventually give her the Captain Marvel, kind of the same way they are with Anthony Mackie with Captain America. And having said that, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over, man. I appreciate it. I'm gonna be back real soon, But I'm gonna give y'all love. My next stop is Wakanda, so I will make sure to pick up some purple ghost
Hey,
and some of the purple fruit.
give me some vibranium back.
Give me the heart-shaped
All
herb.
right, y'all. I'm gonna jump in the comment section for a little bit, guys. But I'm gonna holler at y'all later. Okay.
All right, bro.
All right. I gotta say, Ty, I'm from the very beginning. Iman Vellani, the actress who plays Miss Marvel, like I was sold on her from the very beginning. She, she's super likable, great actress. Like she's, she does really great acting with her face. Like she conveys so much emotion with her face. It's really fun to watch. I've really enjoyed her so far. So I don't really have the same concerns that you have. She's kind of been this. She's carried it for me. So I hope that at the end of it, when you get to the end of the Marvels, you're like, damn, they were all really good, including Iman Vellani. I think that's going to end up, where it will be for you, and I hope so. I hope she wins you over. I mean, guys, do you have the same concerns that Ty has, or are you like, are you feeling pretty confident with Iman Vellani?
I mean, I'm with you, Tyrone. I mean, I don't see like her non-stardom, you know what I'm saying? Like she's a kid, you know what I'm saying? Like I get what you're saying, but like she technically is younger than Tom Holland. Tom Holland technically is like in his 20s. She is a kid, you know what I'm saying? She's not that old. So you have to think about that too. She has like a lot of time to grow, you know what I mean? So I think that this was a great experience for her, and I love seeing her cheeky little self on the screen. And I can't wait to see her come back as Miss Marvel and kicking butt and going. Her and Miss Carol Danvers meetup, that's going to be definitely interesting, because that's her idol. So, I'm wondering, is she going to fangirl or is she going to, outdo herself? So I don't know. I'm kind of excited to see what's going to come next.
Just so you know, I think Iman is 20 years old.
Okay.
Oh, she's 20. That's surprising. I thought she was like 15.
I thought so too.
20. She was born September 3rd, 2002.
Oh,
okay. Well, good for her. She's pulling off this whole teenager thing. She's got that real like 15-year-old energy that she's like killing it with on the show. That's cool. We'll give her. I'm happy
for more. I'm just kidding.
Right. Well, you talked about them, her meeting her hero, and I'm with the way that ended. You mentioned the end credit scene earlier. With the way that it ended, they threw kind of even more kind of wrenches in our understanding of what's happening here with the Bengals, whether or not they're like nega bands or, because in the comics, the nega bands were a way that the different Marvels would essentially switch places in the universe.
Gotcha. Okay.
And it appears that something like that is what happened at the end of Miss Marvel. And so it looks like maybe they're starting to shape out the plot of the movie. Now, granted, there are a few movies to go. We've got some more shows that'll be happening that may or may not, affect the way things are going. But it looks like this may be a situation where, oh no, we switch places. Now, Kamala Khan is who knows wherever Captain Marvel was at first. And this may be sort of like a rescue mission / so I'm obviously we don't know. And I'm really excited to see where that fits in. And then, of course, where Photon fits in with that. So, I mean, just the way things are starting to come together it's looking really, really interesting. But it brings me to my next question. We've seen a lot of people talk about a lot of articles, a lot of people talk about where they think phase 4 is going. Some people think that nobody knows where phase 4 is going, that Marvel doesn't have a plan. Some people say, I think it's going here and I don't like it. Just want to kind of get an idea of where y'all are at on phase 4 so far. And, I'll start it off and just kind of say very briefly that I 100% think that Marvel knows exactly where they're going and that there is a very clear plan that will be executed very well. I have about 20 years of history that makes me think that. But I'd love to know what y'all think about phase 4 so far. And do you have any of the concerns that people have about how things are shaping up and if things will be made clear? Steph, why don't you jump in on that?
I agree that I think they have a plan. I can't tell you what it is. I think it's going to be incredibly difficult to top Endgame because honestly, I don't think we've ever seen anything like that before. A series of movies which were that many years in the making. Like, there's 78 Fast and the Furious movies, but it's clear that every single time they're just like, what else can we do? They didn't have an end plan. Each time that one sells tickets, they're like, well, let's do one underwater next. No. But Marvel, I do believe that they know where we're headed, but I am also concerned that they're not going to be able to top Endgame. Maybe with the new generation of young heroes that they seem to be introducing, maybe we'll watch them grow up and it'll lead to some big tie-in. But I'm interested in your thoughts, if anyone has thoughts on where you think they're taking us next, and if it's going to be anywhere near as exciting as Endgame was.
What do you think, Ty? You had a reaction to the new young
generation.
Yeah,
I don't have at this point. I don't have the same. I definitely have concerns when it comes to the younger superheroes that are on their way. I'm not as excited for them as maybe some people are, but overall, to answer the question, I think Marvel does know exactly what they're doing. I think we as fans, because we went through a pandemic and went through a long time without Marvel, are just really greedy right now. We're like, we want what we want, and we want it now, and we don't want to hear nothing about you got a plan. We want to see it, and that's where we're at as fans. Is we want to see it. We don't want to hear about it no more. You guys had plenty of time to do this, work this out, all of that stuff. So, but I do think Marvel knows exactly what they're doing. I'm of the mindset that we need to just be patient and understand that we're about to get things that we haven't had in forever. We're about to get a brand new X-Men, a brand new Fantastic Four. We're getting new storylines. We had the Eternals. We're getting a Blade movie. We're getting, like, these are things that we didn't have, you know what I'm saying, 5 years ago. You know what I'm saying? 10 years ago. So this is where we're at. We're at a point of new stuff, new material. Marvel having their full assortment of artillery and ready to use it. If we're just being honest. So I have literally zero concerns about Marvel and the direction they're going in Phase 4. And I just think I need to reiterate, patience is what we're gonna have, people. It's just gonna amount to patience. Just chill out, watch you some boys in the meantime, watch you a little of whatever else you got Black Adam on the way. You got things you can watch. Just hold over until Marvel gets here. But just be patient.
What about you guys? What are you feeling about Phase 4? And I do want to answer your question, Stephanie. Stephanie posed the question, where do we think it's going? And I'm curious to see what we think there. And I do have some thoughts. But Yaz, what are you feeling about Phase 4? Do you have the confidence? You feeling okay about it?
Yeah, I mean, you got to think about it. We are in Phase 4, so we've gone through so much of just growth, I guess you can say, with Marvel, and just seeing how amazing, they can put years of movies together to come up into one great ending, so I'm excited to see what's going to happen, because like you guys said, we have so many shows that they're revamping right now, and I'm so nervous and excited about them that, like, I just want one of them to come out so I can just get it over with, my anticipation. So it's more of one of those, like, I'm just, I'm riding on the skirt tails, just waiting for Marvel to give me what I'm looking for. But at the same time, I'm not concerned. It's Marvel. They have never disappointed me, and thus far they're not going to disappoint me, because they have this shit planned out, like, so far into the future. We're just waiting to see what's coming up next. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just along for the ride. I'm just gonna sit. I buckled in. I got my neck pillow. I got my blanket. I'm fucking chilling. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just ready for, like, what's coming next. I might take a nap every now and then, but I'm gonna be awake when the next thing drops. So that's all I'm saying.
That's fact.
Okay, all right. Now, and I agree with what y'all are saying. I feel I took a few steps back and just kind of looked at the big picture a couple of days ago, and I thought about how unprecedented what Marvel is doing really is. Like, they spent almost 2 decades on the same continuity with several different movies and shows, and it's still working. Like, that is something that's just, just the magnitude of that by itself as a concept is just crazy, and we haven't seen it in cinema. Like you know, James Bond has been going for a while, but that's just kind of like the same thing, you know, and they put a new guy in there, so it's sort of like a mantle. But like outside of that, we don't have something like this, and it's just wild to see it pulled off. Stephanie, to answer your question from earlier, I think we're going the Secret Wars angle because of just how much stuff that's happening. It's very cosmos based, and it involves basically it involves, you know, two realities fighting it out for you know, for survival. In the comics, this is how Miles Morales ends up becoming part of the 616 universe and ends up becoming sort of like a mainstay in Marvel. Now, obviously, we know Sony has rights to Miles and things like that, but maybe by the time we get there, maybe they will have worked out a deal where we can get rid of Sony. Maybe they'll be like, look, we put in the Morbius clause and y'all made it so we gotta just eject your shit now. You know what I mean? Like maybe we'll get into Secret Wars. Maybe we'll get Miles Morales out of it. But I think what we will get is you know, another few years of just really fun, you know, really good Marvel movies. I've been enjoying the hell out of it. So that's where I think it's going. I don't know if anybody else has any thoughts on where they think it's going, but before we move on to the next subject, which is the next Marvel show coming out, any final thoughts on this?
As far as the Secret Wars, that's not a bad. That's. I mean, it does look like it could go in that direction. However, I'm more of the mindset that their direction, it doesn't necessarily have to all tie in. You know, like we did with the Avengers stories and everything like that, like it all tied in. I don't necessarily think it all has to tie in. I think they have so much content now and have the ability to tap into all of these different things that you can have these isolated storylines that expand in that universe to where you just have all of these content dropping at the same time. Like with the addition, what we just saw, which is Hercules being added to the MCU. That is a whole nother storyline, the pantheon of gods and all of that. That is a whole different storyline. So you can tap into that. You could go in this direction and go in this direction. But what you're doing is you're feeding all of these different places. You're feeding the people that want this and the people that want that. Because right now, let's be honest, there's been such a huge move from those X-Men fans that have wanted a real X-Men story, a real good, like these fans have been wanting this and craving this forever. So if they can get that, oh my gosh, you're satisfying something that they've never had. And then you got your Fantastic Four, you got your, like I said, you got the pantheon of God, you got all of those different that circle. So you're satisfied, and then you have the kiddies. You didn't forget about the kiddies. You still got the young Avengers coming, which again, I don't have the biggest, you know, like thing in, but I understand. I still feel like the MCU is going to lean on the same people that they've been leaning on, which is Loki. Loki is, and I stand behind this, and I say this, and since left, Loki is the one that if I'm Marvel, I'm driving Loki to the finish line because people love him. He's charismatic, he's funny, he's an asshole, he's all of the different things but it's everything tied in one. So I think they'll continue to carry on with those actors that have signed on extensive deals. Tom Holland, that I think is signed on for another 3 movies, or 3 or 4 movies. So you still have those big time actors who've already established themselves to kind of, you know, drive Marvel to the finish line.
Yeah. Okay. No, I like that.
And you got Mahershala now, so
right.
You know.
I do like you brought up a good point that not everything has to be connected. What we're seeing now in these movies is where, you know, they've set it up to where it mirrors less of a cinematic universe and more of a comic book universe, where there are these big ideas that are happening. There are these big, you know, overwhelming crossover events that will happen. But we're also going to get smaller stories like we got in Thor: Love and Thunder, where we got, you know, the Gore story. You know, in the God of Thunder run, the Gore story was about 11 issues of, you know, that's all they represented was just that one little side story that, of course it had some canon stuff in there, and there was stuff that the Necrosword reaches out to the symbiotes and that kind of stuff, but these smaller self-contained stories like the one we saw in Thor Love and Thunder, something like what we may see in the upcoming She-Hulk show, it's something that maybe people will need to get used to a little bit because of phases 1 through 3. We were so used to everything running towards the same finish line, and that's probably not the case now. You know what I mean? Everybody may not meet at the same finish line this time, and that's okay. So yeah, that's a good point that you brought up, and I really I'm with you on that 100%.
Yeah, the last 2 movies we saw, which was Doctor Strange and then Thor, their post-credit scenes had absolutely nothing to do with each other.
No,
they had absolutely nothing to do with each other.
Yeah.
And one other thing, one thing that we have noticed is when they have these tears in the fabric of time, they're color coded, guys.
Yes,
we've seen green, we've seen purple, and just recently, in what I think Kamala was sucked into, looked like a fire red or a fire like the color of maybe was it chaos magic?
Maybe because it looked different. So I watched it a couple times. Yeah, what it looked like was just kind of like her, like it just kind of like there's not really a word for it. Yeah, it just kind of pulled her. So all I saw was just like her colors, like just a colorful, like they turned her into a paint swatch and just swirled it around until she was gone. So yeah, that's kind of a new mode of travel or dimensional rift or whatever that we haven't seen.
Dimensional. Yeah, and the purple represents was the dimension that
the dark
Doctor
dimension.
Strange and Clea went into was purple.
Yeah, the dark dimension.
Yeah, which is the dark dimension, and then you have the green, which I don't know what that is, but that's usually like I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out what these color coded dimensions are, though.
But that is one common thread. I think the one thing that a lot of these shows have in common, whether it's Loki or Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness, there was some of it in Thor, where we each one does have this big moment of reality being challenged, or dimensional problems, or time issues. So there are definitely a lot of big world breaking sort of problems that are happening. And even though, like we were talking about earlier, it may not all end up in the same place, you can't help but be affected by a new dimensional rift somewhere. So these things will probably be used to connect some of the smaller stories. But yeah, I'm liking where it's going. I'm so curious about how the Marvels, like what kind of movie we're going to be watching when we do watch the Marvels. But in the meantime, while we wait to see the next offering for the actual, for the movie theater, we will be able on August 17th to witness She-Hulk. We'll be introduced to Jennifer Walters and her life as a lawyer and as a Hulk being. We've seen in the trailer, we saw that there, Mark Ruffalo's in it. We've got Tim Roth in it as Abomination. We saw a lot of the Department of Damage Control, which has been pretty heavily established in Ms. Marvel as sort of a villainous organization. There has been, some concern about the way She-Hulk looks. They say that a lot of people think that she's a little too svelte, a little too small for She-Hulk, which I don't disagree with. I feel like, and who knows, maybe we'll get different versions of her kind of, depending on situations and stuff. But, we do, in the comics, you do tend to see She-Hulk look a little more like a Hulk than maybe a slightly larger Green Woman. You know what I mean? So I do see some of the issues there. And then, of course, She-Hulk has kind of brought up some of the, some of the issues with what the CGI folks in Marvel have been going through with all of this stuff coming out with such short time frames and everything. And a lot of people think that this might be where we start to see some of the quality go down a little bit because of the nature of this, because so CGI heavy.
That
So you know, there's some
It's like the
concerns
eye in
here.
Doctor Strange.
Oh my god.
You know, there are some concerns here, and I think Disney and Marvel have been seeing and hearing those. So I'm interested to see if there have been adjustments, you know, that will be kind of in place when this show comes out. I'm still very excited for it. I'm looking at it as, you know, just its own self-contained thing. I do wonder if it will go into like a World War Hulk sort of deal, or like where it will lead Mark Ruffalo and his Hulk. So you know, I'm excited, but this one I think has me more nervous than any Marvel property so far, as far as how it might be received by, you know, Marvel fans. Does anybody, Steph, when you see, you've seen the trailers, you know, we've had some discussion about it. We're about a month out from She-Hulk. Do you think 3-4 episodes in, we're going to be talking to Steph and you're going to be like, nah, I ain't even trying to mess with it? You know what I mean? Is that what you feel here? Is that the energy you have around this one?
Yeah, it just doesn't excite me. And I agree that she's not nearly brolic enough. She just looks like a regular green lady. She does not, she's not giving Hulk to me at all. Yeah, I watched the trailer and I was like, I wasn't a huge She-Hulk fan in the comics either though, but this has not made me a believer.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, as we've been creeping up towards She-Hulk, is there anything that you've been looking forward to seeing, or are you just kind of like, all right, let's see what they give me?
I'm just kind of like, all right, let's see what they give me. Cause like, no lie, I'm kind of disappointed, like you guys said, like on her size. You know, she just looks like a woman that like, you know, works out and like, you know, is like kind of tall. And I want to see a woman Hulk. You know what I'm saying? I want to see her look kind of like him, but like a woman. I want to see Shiva. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, the Goro to the Shiva, she is not it. So I'm kind of like, I see where the fans are getting a little disappointed. If you're going to give us a She-Hulk, like let her have some density. I mean, let her have some, like, you know what I mean? Like, she's beautiful. And like, you know, she's got, you know, that perfect, like I work out body frame, but like, she don't look like a Hulk. She's just green. I can go body paint myself and go work out for a little while and then cosplay this. Like, that's kind of how I feel. You know what I'm saying? So there's nothing really too, like, I could literally just put on a dress and just go cosplay this. So there's nothing really too appealing. You know what I'm saying? Like with Hulk, you got to get like the puff plush, you know what I'm saying? Like outfit on, you know, to get the muscles and stuff. So it's kind of, I don't know. Like I'm going to watch it. Obviously I'm probably going to like it. We already know that. I'm with the fans a little bit where I like, you know, I wanted to see a fucking like Shiva type, like She-Hulk, not like a, you know, I do like, you know, what is it? Fuck, I can't even think of it right now. So
you about to do the Ramba. I don't know.
I'm just saying, no, they're like body, what the hell's the fucking word? I can't even think of it right now. They do like body competitions. That's what she looks like. Like she does like body competitions. Like she's a
bodybuilder.
Yeah, bodybuilder. Yeah, that's what she looks like. She's a bodybuilder that they just painted.
Okay, it's no, like, and I feel you. And I think maybe you know, Disney Marvel Studios, like I don't know who made the decision to kind of like slim She-Hulk down. But you know, I think we should just put it out there, and maybe instead of saying, "Hey, I don't like the way you do it," let them know, "Hey, it's okay. Like we can be horny for a jacked She-Hulk. Like we could, like there's room for it. You know, we could still be horny for that. Like we want to see it. Like everybody doesn't have to look the same. So you know, Disney, just hook us up, and we also might still get that She-Hulk. You know, there is precedent set in the comics for her, you know, her size to change based on, you know, situations, based on the level of her rage, you know, those kinds of things. So, you know, there still is
that's kind of exciting. I didn't know that. Yeah,
there still is the chance for like a very, very scary, very giant She-Hulk to just, you know, tear shit up. It's happened before. There have been some really crazy scenes, and She-Hulk is very much a Hulk. It's an issue, you know what I mean? If it's an issue for the hero, so I hope we do see some of that. But yeah, it is a concern, and I hope that I hope they give us some room to grow there, literally and figuratively. I would love to see She-Hulk grow some. The Abomination storyline, the Abomination storyline, the Hulk, Mark Ruffalo's Hulk, Damage Control. I'm very curious to see how it's all going to come together. they showed so much damage control in the trailers that I'm thinking it's just got to be that. I mean, I think we're going to have a legal battle. I think we're actually going to have a legal battle between her and probably representatives from damage control. And then, we'll see where it goes from there on the outside. Also, because she's a lawyer, we know another very famous Marvel lawyer who resides in Hell's Kitchen and who,
Matt Murdock.
Yeah. So, maybe we've already seen Matt Murdock show up in No Way Home. Maybe it's time to start kind of peppering in a little bit of Daredevil here and there. So, there are some things I'm looking forward to.
What if the villain ends up not being damage control, but what if Kingpin owns damage control? Yeah.
That would be an interesting wrinkle if Kingpin owned damage control.
Wouldn't that be?
I do think there is.
They're federally. I want to say they're even though they're I think they're a federal group of some sort.
Yeah, it was a group that was actually so in the MCU right now. It's a group that was kind of Tony Stark and the government got together. Tony Stark funded this group called Damage Control to basically clean up after the Avengers. Whenever they go and save the city, and they save it so hard that buildings get crushed and stuff like that. So Damage Control comes in and cleans up and everything, which is why you see and hear so much Stark sounds and sights when you see Damage Control popping around. It's very much connected to, you see the Stark drones that were really big and Far From Home. So it's definitely the idea that there's somebody running things that may have an ulterior motive or may not be a very good person. I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if the people that we've seen representing damage control are maybe middle management at best, and they're taking orders from somebody. Maybe Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Allegra, Valentina, Contessa, whatever her whole name is.
Goes up again.
Who knows? She may have some say over some of these organizations. So it's going to be really fun to watch. But I do still have my concerns for ultimately what She-Hulk means for the MCU, especially with some of the stuff going on behind the scenes. VFX artists for Marvel are trying to get together, unionize, get better treatment, which I love the MCU and I love these movies, but I 100% support these people who are working on these movies so hard, getting their money, getting treated well, their time frames looking reasonable and stuff, because the last thing we need is for a MCU work stoppage because they're not paying these folks. Don't do that to us. Pay these people. Give them their money, please. No, seriously.
Yes, yes.
What? Oh, yes, it was Damage Control who was hunting Kamala. Yeah, so that's, and I think this is going to start being a common thread for the ground level stuff, for the more localized hero stuff that's not taking place in, Asgard or, some cosmic area. It's not the Guardians, but it's just people who, have their feet firmly planted on Earth. I think this is going to be a big storyline that will carry through movies and will carry through some of the shows, as well as maybe we might see some organizations perhaps sprout out of it or be related to it. We've been introduced kind of to SWORD, which is the organization that was run by Maria Rambeau. And is sort of like the space shield for lack of a better word. And then you have other organizations that have been kind of name dropped or hinted at, like AIM or Hammer, organizations like that, which have been, sort of thorns in the side of, heroes like Spider-Man or Daredevil, or, people who are trying to protect their small towns, their smaller boroughs or whatever else. So there's so much potential here, and I'm really hoping that it gets handled right. A lot of hope for She-Hulk, but a lot of nerves. And this month is going to be interesting. I'm sure they're going to release another trailer. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a lot of comforting sights in whatever next She-Hulk trailer gets released. You know what I mean? Just to give us maybe a little bit of maybe we'll get that Rage She-Hulk, or maybe we'll get a little bit more of the story, just to kind of give us a little bit of something to hold on to, because we've got a whole month before we what's up?
I know when we watched the original She-Hulk trailer, I wasn't really concerned with her size, and in the trailer that we saw, she was pretty big. And then there was a scene where she got locked in the thing with
like a glass,
glass thing, and then she, hulked out, and she was fairly large in that.
Yeah.
So I think that what we're gonna see is when she's working, in what you saw in those photos, is you see her in the office, and I think in the office you'll see her like more dumbed down, just because she's at ease, but she's still in her green in her green look, but she's more dumbed down. But I think when she gets into those moments where she has to Hulk out, then she'll get like those moments. We'll see that she's pretty ripped and pretty big compared to, because if you put her up next to a big bodybuilder dude, but then she is like towers over him, then that kind of gives you an idea of her size and everything like that. So I don't think that's going to be the concern. I think the biggest concern for this is going to be the CGI, is going to be the special effects. How bad the quality is or good the quality is will be the question. I think the fact that Mark Ruffalo will be in this series bodes well for the She-Hulk series. Anytime I think you have someone who's already noticeable and people already kind of have a connection to in these series, and add another, a new star, as you did with the WandaVision series, you give the star underneath the big star an opportunity to thrive. And that's kind of what I think will happen with She-Hulk. Because I honestly, I wasn't like over here, chattering for a She-Hulk series, but we got it, and we're here. It's here, so we'll take a look at it and everything like that. But I don't think it'll be that bad. I mean, if we're going crazy over Kamala's series, I think it'll be pretty good. Just saying.
Cool. Okay. As you can see, there's a lot of Marvel stuff still coming down the pipeline. We're very excited about it. I'm super happy about where we are now. But overall, as far as just like nerd stuff happening right now, I feel like we've kind of reached a point where we're sort of going through a little bit of a dry spell, like in between seasons or something. We're so used to having. I mean, there was a point where we had damn near 4 or 5 shows that we were watching every week and trying to keep up with. But now we're down to, like, at this point, 0.
You got scraps, man.
Right. But there are some things that have been popping up that have sort of launched some discussion within the Blur group. And, I want to see if we can convince some of our viewers, some of our fans, each other to watch some of these shows. So I know one of those shows, Ty, do you want to introduce us to one that could possibly be something to watch?
I just started watching Resident Evil, the series, on Netflix yesterday. I think I've got like 1 episode left. And if you saw the latest, I think it was Return to Raccoon City or something like that, Raccoon City, yeah, Raccoon City, that was terrible. That movie was absolutely terrible. I would not go see that movie. That was just bad. This is better than that. I don't know I don't know how you can take that, take it with a grain of salt. But it's not a bad series. It's not a great series either. But if you're bored and you're just looking for something in our wheelhouse to watch, Resident Evil on Netflix may be something you want to check out. And Steph, the leads on this show are Black women. She's a little on the lighter side, but she is a Black woman nonetheless. And she is the star of the show. So that may be a reason enough to just check it out. Give it a look-see.
Okay.
Is that maybe so? If you had to give the show just a number rating, what do you think that number rating would be?
You know what? I feel like if I give you the number rating, nobody's gonna go check it out. I don't want to make it seem as bad as it is as it could be to some people, because it's not that it's I would say a 4.5.
4.5. It still might, hey, it might be worth checking out. Those 4.5 points might be really good points.
I would rate it around that.
But like, what are some of the things, like, because you made it almost the entire season, right? Like you've seen almost the whole season. I got an episode left. It's nice. 8 episodes. Eight episodes. What is it that kept you watching after like the first episode or two?
Because I've always been a Resident Evil fan. I've been a fan of the game. I played the game a lot growing up. And I typically want to see this. I feel like the original Resident Evils that were done with Mila Djokovic, I think is her name. Mila Jovovich. Mila Djokovic. Those some of those were done really good. And this one, the thing that I guess kind of kept me going is that this is supposed to kind of piggyback off of those. This is the aftermath of what happened after Raccoon City is destroyed.
Okay.
So if anybody has watched the movies, eventually at the culmination, to culminate the movies, they nuke Raccoon City. They just drop a nuclear bomb on it, just kill everything just to get rid of the virus. And so they nuke it. And then what they do is they go and the Umbrella Company, which is the villain of all of these storylines, basically go in on a media campaign and say that it was a gas leak or something, something happened or whatever, and that's what happened. But this whole series goes into the organization of the Umbrella Company, the power, like the what they control, which is practically the world, and different things like that. So I thought that was pretty interesting, just to watch that aspect of it.
Okay. All right. So that's Resident Evil, and that's on Netflix, right?
For anybody currently playing right now on Netflix.
Cool. If anybody's wanting to watch Netflix, and maybe next week you can give us your thoughts or your number rating on what you thought Resident Evil on Netflix was earning, we'd love to hear it. Yaz, is there anything that you have that you've been watching that you think we should check out, maybe is worth viewing in these dry times?
I checked out the Terminal List. I really liked that series. I thought it was really good. Chris Pratt did a great job at convincing me he was going fucking crazy, and he wasn't. So that's all I have to say about that. It was great. I'm not gonna lie. If you haven't seen it, it's on Amazon Prime. Please go check that shit out. Even if you don't like military type movies, this is a fucking dope ass series to check out. I literally was like so enthralled and just like in the action like the whole way through. I was like, damn it, I gotta go to sleep. So it was a really good series, definitely. And I liked how it ended. So thank God. I've also been watching on Amazon Prime, for those of you who have, I would say are able to watch series like this. It goes back to the Underground Railroad and just, different things that happened during that time, and how, it basically gives you a little bit more insight into how basically slaves escaped into the Underground Railroad, what they had to overcome, what they had to, just like endure, just trying to get to freedom. You know what I mean? Being a piece of property back in that time in the 1800s, in the late 1800s, it was pretty bad for us Black people. So it's definitely really, really eye-opening, I guess you could say, to see it and to just kind of just realize what what Black people went through, just to be alive in this country. So it's definitely a good watch. I would not advise any children or anyone under the age of 18 to view this, because it's very graphic in a lot of the scenes and stuff like that. But it was a good watch. I'm pretty much done. I'm on the last episode right now, and yeah, that's all I'm going to say about it.
All right, dope. And that's on, you said that's on Prime, right?
Yeah, all these the Terminal List and the Underground Railroad is on Prime. And the actresses, if they don't get a an Emmy for their performances. I don't even know what. Like the main person, Cora. God, that woman, she is fucking relentless. So I'm praying.
Okay.
Are you talking about Underground or the Underground Railroad?
The Underground Railroad.
The Underground. Okay.
That one's on Amazon Prime. The other one that you're talking about, Underground Railroad, that one's on Hulu.
Okay.
And I'm about to start that, Stephanie. Don't worry, I'm almost done. I'm about to start it, and we can start talking about it.
Steph, you got any recommendations for us or our fine viewers?
Yes, I actually would love to talk about Underground, the series on Hulu, which was directed by the same woman who did Lovecraft Country, which Journey Smollett was like a pullover from that into her next project. I would actually love to go back and talk about that, even though the show came out a while ago. I really loved it. I thought it was great. I expected it to be depressing and dark. It was like, I'm not going to enjoy this, but it actually has a lot of hope and inspiration, and it was really good. So that's one. I'm looking forward to The Gray Man. I think that's what it's called. The new
that is on Netflix.
Yes.
And Ryan Reynolds. Actually, I think, is it Ryan Reynolds? Ryan Gosling.
It's Ryan Gosling
Okay.
and it's
Chris Evans. Thank you. I said wrong Chris and wrong Ryan. I get this
too many Chris's and Ryans. Okay.
But two of the white guys in Hollywood.
And actually, we actually get to see Chris Evans in a completely different light. I mean, he's got the chip stash, the porn stash, and he calls it the white trash stash. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm kind of excited to see this different, viewing of Chris Evans and seeing him. You just kind of like take this role and run with it. I'm like, I don't know. I'm excited and like kind of scared at the same time. So I don't know.
So no more Captain America. We get Captain
America's gone. We got white trash. Literally, he said the white trash stash. I was like, oh my god, they did not just call it that. It was great. So it's gonna be a good series. I can't wait.
Then I'm also looking forward to. I'll say real fast. On Peacock, they're doing a Best Man show. With the cast from the
from the '90s movie.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. So. It
was a great movie. Yeah, I think I saw like a lot of the original cast of the show. Like, is it everybody or is it just like most of the original cast?
I think they got them all.
Nice. That was.
They're back. Everybody's back. Everybody's back. Everybody's back.
For anybody who isn't old enough to have experienced it themselves or hasn't been back in a while, y'all need to go back into that like '90s black movie like. Just golden age. There were just some amazing movies, whether it's like Love and Basketball, Love Jones. I'm a big Mo Money fan. Kid and Play was dropping classics like Class Act and House. I mean, just like it was just a beautiful, beautiful time for black cinema. Go back to those movies, celebrate, enjoy, because damn, it was great. To get reboots of that, I hope that we get that spirit back, because there was just a certain feel to those movies that was just so beautiful. Yeah, Harlem Nights. Yeah, even back to like the late '80s and stuff. There were just amazing movies that y'all need to familiarize yourself with. And speaking of, go ahead.
Real quick, Minnie mentioned this animation on Netflix. It's called Farzar. That's what you're talking about, Minnie. And yes, this is not for children.
Worth watching though.
Make that very clear. It is funny as shit.
Okay.
And it is not for children. There's a lot of swearing. There's a lot of. It's called Farzar. Farzar. It just appeared on Netflix yesterday. There's one of their new anime joints, and it is hilarious, guys. I was like, I watched 2 episodes, and I was like, oh shit. Like this is definitely not something you want to watch when the kids are around. They're going full on in. So yeah, Farzar on Netflix. Check it out.
All right. Farzar. Now we do have one thing. I feel like this will be a good place to our last conversation for the show, because next week we have a really big movie dropping that has we haven't really touched base on this in a little while. But next week we have Nope dropping, which is Jordan Peele's latest installment of hopefully greatness. Jordan Peele, he does it big. When he does it, it's just he does it big. So I do want to see if we can just share this trailer real quick, the final trailer for Nope. If you're somebody who doesn't like trailers, then I apologize. Are we good? Can y'all see this screen here? Are we good? Yeah, cool. I got the sound going. But yeah, if you don't want to watch this Nope trailer, because I feel like it gives away a lot, close your eyes and cover your ears, but don't leave, because we want to talk about we want to talk about this when we get back. So don't leave. But for now, here's the latest and final Nope trailer.
What if I told you that today you'll leave here different? Pops! Pops! I'm talking to you.
Bro, what you see?
Something above the clouds. That's big.
How big?
Big.
You think whatever killed Pops is out there?
Right here, you are gonna witness an absolute spectacle. So what happens next? You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready? Here we go.
No. This would be an opportunity. I'm talking rich and famous for life.
There's plenty of videos of flying shit online.
Ain't nobody gonna get what we gonna get.
What we gonna get?
The money shot.
What's up?
Undeniable proof of aliens on camera. The Oprah shot.
So you guys gonna tell me what's going on?
Hell no. Because I'm out here, and you're the only person in the world that can get it on film.
That cloud. They moved an inch.
It's aliens. They're just waiting for the perfect time to shove metal probes up our asses.
I'll be rooting for you.
I think we pissed them off.
Yeah. They repainted your house. They're gonna come back. You ready? We got some work to do. Not it.
Nope.
I'll get him out. And I'll get the shot.
Let's go, baby! Let's go!
I need y'all to tell me, what did you see in that cloud?
Well, it's not what you think.
No!
They took him. They took him all.
I gotta get out this house. I'm trying to save you. My brother is out there.
I don't think they take you. If you don't look at him.
Look, don't look, don't look.
This dream you're chasing, where you end up at the top of the mountain, it's the one you never wake up from.
You'll be getting a call from my supervisor asking how my service was.
5 stars, Angel. 5 stars.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Very, very excited. I don't know. Any thoughts? Any thoughts on on Nope after seeing the final trailer? If you haven't already seen it, or I'm excited. Jordan Peele movies have been have been something I look forward to every time a new one's announced. So I cannot wait. But like, what's the energy? What are y'all feeling? Anybody? Steph.
I want to go first.
I'm excited. I mean, it looks good. I have a complicated relationship with Jordan Peele's work because it's what I feel like I should be doing. Him and Issa Rae, like, it's hard for me to enjoy their stuff because it's the same kind of stuff that I really like to write, and I feel like I don't have success in those areas the way I want to yet. So it's like a weird admiration / hate jealousy. But I'm looking forward to it.
That's right. Yeah. I like that angle. One day we'll have to see some of your you have to pitch us some of your writing or some of your ideas, maybe behind the scenes, so Jordan Peele doesn't steal it, because
right?
we don't want that kind of beef or anything. But like, would be interested to hear some of your stuff.
Yeah, with it. Let's go.
What's up, Ty? What are you feeling after seeing that?
If I'm being perfectly honest, I was more intrigued and more looking forward to this movie when it didn't show as much.
Okay.
When they kept everything kind of hush hush and you didn't really know what it was about and everything. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't think this movie is going to be nearly as successful as it should be. Simply because I don't think alien movies where you do UFOs and stuff do that well since Independence Day. Like I think Independence Day probably was like the last really successful UFO movie. Um and and frankly, I said this before, I'm not the biggest Kiki Palmer acting fan. Like she's like, to me, she's not no great actor, and like it'll be interesting to see how this unfolds. But I really don't think it's going to be one of Jordan Peele's best works, and he's got some really good works. So,
okay, all right, got a little bit. We got a doubter over here. We'll have to see. I mean, really, I think, yeah, by next weekend. I know I plan on seeing it, Thursday or Friday. So, hopefully we'll have a chance to see it so we could really dive into it, because this is one that I'm looking forward to talking about. Before I get into what I think, what did you think after watching this trailer?
I think it looks pretty cool. I'm kind of excited to see where, it's going to go from here. Obviously, they gave us a little bit more than I was expecting in the trailer on like the whole plot and how everything's gonna pan out. But I'm excited to see how it's gonna play out. I like Kiki Palmer. I've always liked Kiki Palmer as just like a person in her acting. I know, Ty, you're over here cringing on the inside, but you know what I'm saying? But I like her presence as a person. So I'm excited to see this. And I also like, what is the actor's name that she's is her co-host with? What is his name?
Daniel Kaluuya.
Yeah.
From Black Panther. I love him and things. Like, he is just like, his depth alone is great. I will watch him and whatever. I won't watch the whole like Get Out movie because I'm marrying a white guy and I just don't want to like complex my brain. So that was really that's just why I didn't watch it. Like, everybody was like, yes, you got to. And I'm like, sorry, but I've been engaged for a couple years and I'm playing at like the date set. I just don't want to like screw up my complex by like looking at him weird at nighttime. So we're just not gonna watch it.
We're gonna have to do like a Clockwork Orange
that Austin makes. Like,
we gotta get your eyes all open like this and make you watch it.
I don't know about that. So yeah, I love my household and how it is. I just don't want it to be tainted by a movie and my questions on, like, how is he thinking right now? Like, what is he thinking? Like, what does he think about when, I do things? Yeah. I don't want to have those complexes or those ideas. You know what I'm saying? So we're just gonna
Yeah. I feel you. Yeah, I dated a redhead once, and I couldn't watch Carrie for a long time, so I feel you on that. Yeah.
With the butcher knife, that would have me fucked up in the kitchen for a while. I feel you.
No, this is I love the reasoning. The reasoning is great. Get Out's a great movie, by the way. Get Out, to me, I think was Jordan Peele's like
work.
Yeah, overall, like from beginning to end.
All right, after we get married, I promise you guys I'll watch it. How about that?
Yeah, divorce isn't too expensive.
Exactly.
It'll be too late by then, though.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can't get out at that point.
And I'll be screwed. So
I got you.
No, but it's I think Get Out was like a really, really solid movie beginning to end. Us, I really enjoyed Us a lot. I think it didn't end as strongly as the rest of the movie, kind of went, so it was not a disappointment, but just not at the Get Out level. So I'm going to be interested to see, sort of how this movie ends so far, because Jordan Peele is like one of those big idea guys where like he's got this concept and he can just put it on screen beautifully. He's great with just kind of the way he tells a story and the way he kind of translates his vision to film. But there is this thing where you get to the end and it starts to kind of, it loses a little bit of its foundation. So I hope that this is more like Get Out, where it ends strong. If anything, it gets kicked up a notch by the ending, than just kind of like being a big idea that sort of just finishes. But I'm really excited for this movie. Can't wait to talk about it. One thing about Jordan Peele movies is after they come out, after people have seen them, there's always like a good bit of discussion after. They never hit quietly. Like, say what you, yeah, exactly. They they make an impact. It becomes part of the discussion. It becomes part of, you know, that moment in pop culture. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. Can't wait to see it. I'm with you, Yaz. Daniel Kaluuya, Kiki Palmer. I think they're going to be a really great combination. Obviously, we saw Steven Yeun in there. He's always fun to watch. A lot of weird elements popping up in that. You know, you see chimps running around, and you know, old movies, and you know, looks like a Radio Shack guy. Like I sense a lot of humor. I sense a lot of silliness, but ultimately, hopefully, we get that, like, you know, that horror aspect. That's what I'm looking for.
I heard something, and I don't know if you guys heard this, but I heard that Daniel Kaluuya is not going to be in Black Panther 2 because he was doing Nope.
Yeah.
And he's no longer going to be in Black Panther 2, which is a little bit disappointing.
Yeah, that is kind of disappointing. What the hell? Like, I'm kind of mad where they left, like, Okoye and his relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck?
Well,
yeah, schedules didn't work out. So yeah, we're going to be looking at a Black Panther 2 without Daniel Kaluuya. You know, sometimes it'd be like that when you're an actor of that caliber. You know what I mean? Like you're going to be working. You're going to be working, and people are going to want to have a piece of you and stuff. And that's what it came down to. And, you know, hey, I respected it. To walk away even briefly from the Marvel Cinematic Universe is something that's not happening a lot. Right. But to go and do a movie with Jordan Peele, and you know, do a movie that, I mean, we could say this is, you know, he left the MCU to go do a black film with a black director, and you know, black cast, and you know, it's you could say he did it for the culture.
I mean, he left the black director.
That's true. It was Black Panther, yeah. So it wasn't like he left the MCU; he left Black Panther.
He didn't leave a black director to go to a black culture, like anything, and like when to go and that's.
I'm just going to take a shot in the dark and say that the set of Black Panther 2 may be a little toxic, and maybe that's why he left.
Everything,
because I mean, you don't do anything for the culture and leave. You don't leave the culture to go do something for the culture. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like you was in the culture. Like, this movie is about the culture. Like, you don't leave that to go talk about aliens and deal with aliens, which are.
But also, this could be our, like, you know, like our missing him for whenever he could come back in like the series about Wakanda. You know, when they dig into the tribes and stuff like that, he could definitely come back. You know what I'm saying? Because he's Wakabi. We know that he's, you know what I'm saying, like I forgot what tribe, border tribe. He's like the you know, the king of the border tribe or whatever, you know what I'm saying, like the war guy, you know what I'm saying. His dad is like the king of that tribe, but he's like, you know, the second in command. So he might come back whenever they do the series for Wakanda. You know what I'm saying?
They already filled his role. Drake is playing Wakabi.
Stop it. Drake's too light skinned. Stop it.
Your girl himself.
I like how you're not mad about that, Stephanie. Like, I straight up, like, she's like, oh, Drake.
Stephanie said there wasn't enough light skin representation in Wakanda, so we needed some of that. And
that's right.
Very happy
when they're doing their chants, it'll sound really good. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you know, Drake is the king of the light skins right now. So
I am a college-educated Black woman in my late 30s. Drake is the representative of our demographic. Like,
it's true.
You know,
it's very true.
I can't mess with it. I've been listening to some of that new album, and I'm like, okay,
yeah,
all right.
I present
You don't like to move. You don't like to dance. You don't like to shake your shoulders. You don't want to shake your shoulders.
No,
it's an interesting take. I respect for for getting out there trying something new, Drake. You know, maybe
he's
just,
like the only one who could and like wouldn't fall off doing it. That's probably why he did it. He's like, I'm gonna try something new and see if they like that shit.
He's the only light-skinned person that can go to Wakanda and no one says a thing. No one's like, hey.
No one says a thing.
He's like Bucky. He's like the Bucky of the Wakanda. He fits in. You know what I'm saying?
But also, I feel like they talk about him behind his back. Like,
oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Drake, he's there, but he's not like part
like
of it,
that second cousin we don't really like, but we tolerate.
Yeah, when he comes to the party, they're like, hey, would you mind running, grabbing a bag, a couple bags of ice or something like that? Just, you know, we come like that's Drake's role at the party for sure.
Exactly.
Now we'll wrap it up here. This has been an amazing time. We're closing in on the 2-hour mark, but we won't do the 30-minute wind down, the 30-minute Vince Taylor goodbye. We're going to do a very short goodbye here. Before we head out, want to thank everybody for hanging out with us this morning and watching and being up in the comments. Roberto Mini's always up in the comments representing Lisa. We saw a lot of new faces. I saw a couple new faces in the comments today, but the comment section was so wild that I can't even scroll back up there. I saw Daniel Biddle up there earlier. What up, everybody? This has been a good time. I hope everybody enjoyed Ms. Marvel, and I hope everybody's ready for She-Hulk and Nope. Before we head out, Ty, you got anything for the folks? Any last words?
Check us out every Wednesday on Multiverse at 6:30 p.m. right here on Facebook and YouTube. Don't take my rating of 4.5 and hold it against Resident Evil. Go check it out. It's not as bad as maybe I'm giving it. I haven't fully finished the series, so I'm giving an early critique without finding out the ending.
I like how you're one episode away and you said it's a 4.5.
You're damn right.
Wait till I finish.
I'm like an episode and a half away, so I mean it's no big deal. But yeah, go check it out. Shout out to everybody in the comment section. Thank you for coming through, showing a lot of love. We appreciate the love and support. Shout out to the neighborhood finance guys. Saw you in there earlier. So holla at y'all. Everybody, shout out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I do want to say real quick before we really bounce. If you're into games, if you're into gaming, if you got any systems, download Fall Guys. Fall Guys is a free-to-play game. It's so much fun. It's fun for the whole family. It's just a good time. It's crazy. I hope that one day we can get like a Fall Guys New Blurred Order hang going on, and we can just like play silly games with y'all, the viewers, with us, and just have a good time. So I'm sure Ty can back me up on that. We've been having some fun on Fall Guys. So download Fall Guys so we can all play this ridiculous, silly, colorful game together.
That's it.
And if you guys are in our group, take a look. Coming up this week, I have some Stranger Things merch that's dropping, so you guys will get the first peek. So
hey.
Yeah. Also, Steph, anything else before we bounce?
I just hope everybody watches Nope, because I want to talk about it next week.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, definitely join us next week for our Nope discussion. And I'm sure we'll dive really deep into that. And who knows what else we'll have on the docket. We'll get that together this week and have a nice show for y'all. Vince will be returning. I'm sure he'll have some stories from Italy and all the stuff. I'm sure he'll be sharing, or as he likes to call, stunting on us. So come back next week for Vince flexing all over us about his world travels. But until then, I want to say thank you again for watching. I'm not going to do the spotlight thing. I want you guys to see all of these faces before we leave. And I don't want to take too many pages out of Vince's book, but this one page I will take. In all things that you do, be yourself. If you're not being yourself, you're being fake. And don't forget, let that geek flag fly. Thank you for watching.
Fighter 2, I just really hate Zangief, only Ken and Ra. I find it hard to be Blanca, keep a wee ninja hanging and our uncle album banging. If you negative in energy, then stay out the vicinity of, yeah.